Sally Ann, do you believe an organization's ethical standards can be audited?
Oh, absolutely. And I think there's different ways that you do it as well. I think you can actually do some audits that focus on ethical standards, but you might also think about ethics as part of other audits. So in other words, the first could be looking at things like the governance framework and the organisation and the code of conduct and the actual infrastructure that's in place to drive ethical standards. But if you wanted to do more of an embedded audit, you might be auditing an element of an area, and part of the questions that you're asking focus on ethical issues. So rather than the whole audit itself be focused on ethics.
How do you suggest assessing the organization's cultural and ethical environment?
It might be through a formal audit itself, and in that case, whether that's an audit focused on the ethical landscape or whether it's focused on other aspects and you're looking at the ethical landscape as part of the process, in which case you might use a whole variety of procedures to do that, from reviewing documents, reviewing people's acceptance of those documents, talking to people about their awareness of the controls that really drive ethics, through to, you might be using surveys, you might be using other means. But then you could also use a survey itself to look at the ethical environment of an organisation. Rather than do a whole audit, use something like an anonymous survey.
I think having an anonymous survey is beneficial because it gives people the opportunity to say things they may not say during an audit. When you're actually physically doing an audit, people may want to give you the answer that you would like to hear. They also may be somewhat concerned about who may be listening into the conversation or knowing who they're talking to. When we did an anonymous survey with our company a few years ago, we found that we wanted to also not only attack tone at the top and tone at the middle, but it gave us an opportunity to survey all the employees, which gave us actually an evaluation as to, number one would be how are people being managed, how is the tone at the top managing the organization, but then also giving input in terms of how people are feeling in terms of, is management walking the walk and talking the talk?
And is there any particular questions you would suggest are always used, or does it vary?
I would just recommend that the questions probably be limited to no more than 20 or 25. Okay. It gives people the opportunity to give their input in a short period of time. So you'd want to talk about primarily questions that relate to, is management actually doing and acting the way that they're expecting their employees to?